Yes, people, FJTV. This is obviously going to be the part 2 to the, Jamaica 2025 video. So, like I was saying, was maybe more overall negative than positive as a holiday, a little break from reality, or what my current reality is. And ultimately, as is the case with everything, I just saw it as a learning curve, more reminding myself what I already know and what I already talk about in these videos, but just to keep moving forward, keep going, with the flow of everything that's happening. As I always say, man, it's like everything is a blip in time. The only thing that exists is the here and now. Same way, like I said in that video, which was Saturday, today's Monday. Currently, right here, right now, I'm sat in my flat, recording this, talking at my phone. I haven't even uploaded it yet. But as we know, the way this works, like after the video when it's done, upload it, straight away it's on the internet. There we go. Well, I'll cut the video short because I could feel myself going towards more just like a bit of a negative place. My first video in a month, so I knew, as is always the case, same as this one, like I'm a minute in and I'm not 100% flowing, but I've got the same notes page in front of me because there's things that I didn't really mention and that I want to get into. But firstly, for context, today, so funny because since the holiday and specifically Saturday, saying to myself, you know better, same as I was reminding myself on that holiday, you know better, Josh, than to be letting the negativity get into and infect this impenetrable armour, to infect my mind and really my heart space where I feel everything. Reminding myself again while I was over there, it's a blip in time. So when we got stranded and the flights were cancelled, human matrix shit, still doing my utmost. That's the wrong way of saying it, but still doing my best. And like I say, do or do not, there is no try, but trying my best to remain in the positive, but more so a case of, all right, I'm the observer, so like I'm pushing back from everything and kind of watching, flights cancelled, blah, blah, blah. I kind of already had an inkling that was going to happen. And then ended up having an extra week there, literally a week to the day of leaving. Had I have known that at the time and actually said that to my dad while we were there, I was like, if we'd have known it was only going to be another week, would we have been as stressed? Probably not. However, hindsight is 2020, whatever. So again, there's nearly 3 minutes of just kind of human stuff, but that's how these videos kind of play out. But what I was starting to talk about, and as like I said, specifically from Saturday, doing that first video, first one in a while, whatever, and obviously talking about the holiday. So then I had Sunday, had a good training session, then I had my shift, matrix, day-to-day stuff, is what it is. Like I said, it's a blip in time because I already know what the future holds, because as we know, and as I said constantly on this channel in a multitude of videos, and I'll continue to say, we create the future, because at the highest level, not only are you everything, at the highest level, but fragmented, slightly lower than that, lower. With these immortal souls, that on again a higher level we chose a multitude of lifetimes. Even if we're hitting the randomize button, randomize this avatar, randomize the hair, eye, skin colour, randomize the name, randomize the time period, and then again it's like I'm going to be a samurai in this time period, Apache, Native Indian, Native American in this time period, I'm going to be a Viking in this time period, I'm going to be Josh in this time period. Same thing. I mentioned that before, I mentioned it in other videos, but not to get mulching over the same stuff or getting on a tangent. Again, moving forward, like I said, had a good day Sunday. Went and saw my family again, because I could feel myself in that video Saturday, the part 1, being negative when I was referencing this, like, stranded on a tropical island, I was say desert island, tropical island with, of all people, my own family. But jokes aside, kind of hinting at that cliche of like, I think it was bad enough there, and I had my family. As much as I did even make that joke to people at my workplace, because sometimes I can't help myself. I'm having these constant conversations. Like I said, I'm like a social chameleon. I can blend into that wall behind me. I can blend into this shirt that I'm wearing. There's a multitude of tangents and analogies there, but for the purpose of the video, I won't get on them, yeah? Because we're 5 minutes in, so let me keep speed running this to finish the points that I've got. But again, like I said, when I saw my family Sunday, had a good time, it was cool, whatever. And then Sunday night again, I'm saying to myself, more YouTube content. But as was the plan and as was the wisdom while I was in Jamaica, reminding myself, the second we get back to the UK, we need to keep going, keep moving forward. Because as much as, like I said, a handful of times in this video alone, everything is the here and now, yeah? But there's still fleeting moments that go into the past, but then I can create and meditate on, okay, I want to experience this, and then that flows and comes to pass. You get what I'm saying? And then even that randomized point where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to try and have a stranglehold on everything that happens. This is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and brrr. It's like going with the flow, the beautiful, effortless flow. Yeah. So again, today, Monday, you know, people, I hate Mondays, man. As much as, like I said, in this blipping time, like I said, I'm not happy and I'm not content. Main reason being because I know what's coming. I know what the future holds because I created it. Duh. Yeah. So that's one thing, but also I know it's because it's constant upward progression. Yeah. Almost like spirals as well. Sometimes you're thinking, oh, I'm going back towards a negative. Oh, it's okay. And just keep going with the flow. You get me? Yeah. So again, today, I made one of my co-workers laugh because I was like, the second I walked in, I'd already put it in my mind where I'm like, today's just going to go so smoothly. And I know eventually it's almost like warping through reality, everything flowing past these eyes to experience the external when really I'm focusing on this eye to experience the external, internal combined and whatnot, yeah, to then see the future. I mean, I am literally seeing it because I can visualize so vividly the point where, like, I'm looking at my kitchen in front of me, yeah. Or literally saying to myself, I'm gonna warp through today so quickly where I'm gonna finish my shift, so I've got paid for the day, whatever, yeah, matrix bullshit, whatever, yeah. I'm gonna train, gonna exercise, yeah. That's the point. Little note to myself, not to forget to articulate in this video because I'm nearly at the 10-minute mark and then it's whoosh, I want to lock it off, yeah. But I'm going to get my shift done, I'm going to train straight after, and as soon as I get home, I'm going to do my stretching as well. It's part of the routine. And as soon as I get home, I'm going to have a cold shower because it's also part of the routine. And before I break my fast from my last meal before training, we're going to make some YouTube content. And not just content for the sake of content, I've got specific things to say. So as I approach the last conclusion and the last little points of this video, as I said, the holiday wasn't what it could have been, but funnily enough, ultimately it was just exactly what I needed in that moment and at the time to constantly remind myself going through, almost like you're on that hamster wheel, yeah, which can feel fucking dizzying. Go on then, big brain Josh, let's articulate ourselves properly using the English language. It can be disorientating and nauseating to be what feels like on a constant loop and a hamster wheel of potential negativity. And even when it's like, okay, the negativity, I can turn into the positive because I can transmute the energy in its duality and I can merge the two, like the masculine and the feminine. But I want to get off this hamster wheel. I want to keep going. You get me? Yeah. But then the same way I'm saying to myself, why the fuck am I getting desperate to come back here? Do you know what I mean? But again, to bring all the tangents and make all the points make sense and merge them all together for this video. Today, I said to myself, we're going to be back in this chair recording this content. So let's just breeze through this, no negativity. And that's exactly how it went. And the joke I made to my co-worker, as one of the managers appears and then there's another co-worker and another co-worker and everyone's having like a quadruple, triple, quintessential, that's the wrong word, quintuplet, because there's 5 people. Conversations flowing over each other and through one another. And then I kind of turned to him as everyone was walking off and he was about to leave because he's finished his shift, and I was like, isn't it funny how I said to myself, I want today to be a bit of a pantomime and a bit of a... And he started giggling because he already knew what I was referencing with my co-workers. And I won't get too deep in it and whatever for the video. But it was literally what was proven, as is always the case, yeah, to the point where I know I'm like a broken record. However, moving forward, and as I wrap up the video, because I've gone over the 10-minute mark, I really did figure out the blueprint to really get this. When I'm talking about this, really I'm talking about this, because mind, body, soul, again, analogies, points, tangents, phrases that you've heard a million different times, yeah, but your consciousness and the wisdom to be getting downloads in real time, yeah. I really did crack the code to the blueprint, and that can sound egotistical. There's levels to the game, but ultimately, every other person I'm seeing in everything I've seen, from a positive to a negative to this person, that person, some of them conflicting, whatever, it's all coming to the same sort of points. And like I said, I've realised, yeah. So step one, first and foremost, and it's a point for future videos, but I'll get to that. And it's a reflection of my entire life, but let me not keep stifling what I'm about to say. Exercise, because we're not just exercising the body, you're not just exercising the body, you're exorcising the demons, yeah. Two different spellings, two different meanings, you get what I'm saying? So then after we exercise, hard physical training, maybe it's cardio, maybe it's the weights, maybe it's the martial arts, yeah, like I did today. After we've broken down our body, and before it regenerates itself anyway, yeah, the stretching protocol, because you break it down, and you can, yeah, release that tension. Same way you're releasing tension and trauma and stress, PTSD, all of that, all the traumatic experiences, yeah, through the exercise, especially when you're thinking about it, when you're doing certain things, yeah. Then we also need to bridge the gap with the stretching to properly release the tension. So after the contraction, there's the release, yeah, of energy. So already there's two things that will just springboard your life in a million different ways, yeah. After that, alongside the stretching, we've got the breath work, which will lead to the meditation, yeah. And the reason why the breath work links in with, obviously, just life in general, because as we know, yeah, constantly, 24/7, 365, from the moment you came out your mother's womb, yeah. And before that, you came from a past life, but that's story of another day in this simulation, yeah. The breath work linking in with the stretching, because as you feel bits of tension, like when I'm stretching my neck, and then it's almost like I can exhale and stretch a little bit more, and then as I inhale, I feel more tension, and then I think, well, I've got to do the opposite to that. So then we stretch the other side, and may feel a little bit more tension. And maybe then you think like, I could feel that when then I was having this negative conversation with this person. Or you might just stretch something, you might be doing a pose, and then a traumatic memory pops up in your brain. You're thinking, why am I thinking about that right now? As I feel a physical sensation that the nervous system has sent to my brain to, without words, because I could have been born and raised in China and be speaking Mandarin or Cantonese or one of the other Chinese languages I never know the name of, yeah. But it's the same feeling. So the brain interprets and reads it back to itself as pain, yeah. Not the word pain, but the sensation, which is a feeling. So again, as I was saying on that point, as I'm stretching, I'm thinking, why am I remembering this thing? But then as I breathe and stretch into it more and release that tension, release that trauma, and you can release that stress, because then we go to the next point of the meditation alongside the breath work, where you don't have to do any crazy Wim Hof. Can if you want to. If you want to, like, yeah, I'm going to get a natural DMT off this. And I'll talk about other stuff about yoga poses, this and that. I won't get myself on another tangent, because I know I'm dragging the video on, but let me keep it going. Those 4 things, yeah, and as a man with semen retention, yeah, alongside all of that, give you that true masculine power, yeah, that raw energy. But like I said, those 4 things, male and female, doesn't really matter, but specifically with the semen retention, and then throw in as well fasting and detoxing, which when you do with exercise and stretching and meditation, obviously, all these things linked together becomes a brick by brick by brick in a foundation of impenetrable fortress, which is not just this as in your mind. And we know the constant negativity thrown our way. It's thrown our way in every different possible dimension, angle, whatever, yeah. Not just as impenetrable armour in this. Like I said, bro, I'm a real life warrior, yeah. Same like I said when I was 10 toes down in Jamaica. I don't know, some people look at me, like I said in that other video, in the part 1, and I didn't want to get too deep in the tangent because I know some people will take it in the wrong way if I don't perfectly articulate myself like I'm going to do right now. A situation, I'm not going to get too deep in what I'm telling someone politely, saying it and forming it as a request for somebody to do something for no other reason than it's going to allow, quite simply, a car to navigate. But I could feel the tension and resistance, and if I approach this the wrong way, then it can lead to this situation. I already know I need to manifest the negativity, but I'm still with my family and I still am who I am. So ironically, as was the case for that situation I was kind of referencing, and I kept saying to myself before I even get on this holiday, bro, I don't want no bullshit. I'm not here for that. I don't need to show off in front of nobody. I don't need to flex this energy. Yeah. I'm just trying to be a peaceful, real life warrior in a garden. A real garden. Like I was in a beautiful, tropical, paradisical, if that's even a word, island, yeah. Beautiful scenery. But like I said, that little one situation where I thought, ooh, I could have gone in such a different negative route, but I was still ready, is the point I'm making. And as we know, of course, politely request it to somebody, give them that eye contact after I've said please. And of course, they acquiesced my request. No shit. And then as I'm driving past, of course, we say thank you. Yeah. Situation was literally just me asking somebody polite to move their car. And initially they was like, without saying no, go on, you can go. As in, go on, you can go past. Where clearly I can't go past, because otherwise why would I have asked you to move the car? But aside from that, all those things I mentioned, again, while I was in Jamaica, and I've thought it for the last 3 years and constantly made notes about it and then constantly said, okay, figure this out. Show, don't tell. Yeah, I've done enough telling. Yeah, I need to really show this stuff. And I've showed it here and there with the training, showed it here and there with the physique, before and after pictures of this point in my life with this training routine, this point in my life, and it's the journey, hence the name of my personal training and online coaching, fitness brand, fitness journeys. They laughed in my face. People that were meant to be my friends, people that I considered brothers, laughed in my face at the name of a PT brand, something so frivolous. But that was a reflection, and it's the divine mirror reflecting back at me in a blip in time, sorry. I know I dragged the video and I kept saying 10 minutes, brother, and I'm nearly at 20. Oh well, is what it is, yeah. But as I said, the last little point, just to go back over it, exercise, stretching, breath work, and meditation, semen retention, and what I didn't mention, because it's November, of course it's No Nut November, and I haven't made a No Nut November video. For that reason that I'm about to say, or for the reason I'm about to say. Already done them in the past, for one thing, already spoke about it in a million different ways, and I'm already talking about the same information that everybody else in that sphere is talking about, and also it's the same information you already know. Especially as a man, I know, you know, shout out the sisters watching, but for my brothers watching, yeah. For all the men out there, young, middle-aged, old, whatever, yeah. That entire spectrum of age as a masculine vessel to house the entity that's the immortal soul within, yeah. You already know semen retention, I don't need to talk about it, yeah, for that reason. But like I said, incorporating all these things, feel that power, yeah. Like I said, real life warrior in the garden. I don't need to manifest no negativity, and for the purpose of, like I say, utilising all of that, and like I say, show, don't tell, I'll put myself into the competitive bouts, the win, lose or draw, doesn't matter anyway. I'm still gaining XP, I'm still gaining the experience of the event itself, of the competition and the competitive nature of it. And like I say, everything I've already spoke about in this video, yeah. Something I still haven't really touched on that was on my notes, I had to fly to Atlanta, Georgia, and then back to the UK. While I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm in I don't know if there's more than one, but hey, I was in one big ass airport in Atlanta, yeah. Shout out any Americans that may see this. And at one point, to go down a really long escalator, and then we had to get on like a little mini monorail that's going up and like through these tunnels to the next part of the airport. And straight away, something I've known for a very long time. And I'm like, I've literally got to look at the tunnels that I already know about, that exists surface level of all this human stuff that go however deep the rabbit hole may go. That's more than long enough. There's 20 minutes. Didn't really even talk about the holiday too much, but hey, that's another video done. Link to my Patreon, Instagram in the description. Steps to any purpose. Let's go.